Well, hey guys, welcome to the Sips Podcast YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a great week. Look, I want to talk for just a few minutes about Tom Brady versus time. Now, if you look at Tom Brady, obviously he is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football. Really, he's basically taken that argument away from everyone. You don't have to necessarily like him, but it's hard to argue that he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Now, that's not to say that some quarterbacks are not better in certain aspects of the game than Tom Brady. However, the Super Bowls, he's got 7 Super Bowls to date. Obviously, he leads the league in so many stats, and some of those stats, obviously, he's going to lead in due to playing for so long. So that begs the question, well, how has Tom Brady been able to sustain this level of success for so long throughout his career? If you look even at the 2021 season, his stats this year or this season are just as good as they've been practically ever. He's got over 5,000 yards, 5,300 passing yards so far. He's got over 45 passing touchdowns, I think 48 to be exact. He's only got 12 interceptions. Statistically speaking, this season is one of his best seasons, and he's 44 years old. He just continues to, it seems like, defy time. So obviously, I don't have the exact recipe, okay? If you're waiting for me to give you the exact formula and recipe for why Tom Brady has been so successful for so long, you're not going to get it here. I don't have it necessarily. However, we can look at a few things that separates Tom Brady from some of the other quarterbacks, even the great quarterbacks that we know. We know that Tom Brady has been notorious for years for taking care of his body. So he takes really good care of his body. We know he's got the TB12 brand. He's got all of the food, all of the nutrition, things like that. He eats organic food. He eats avocado ice cream for his dessert. Just so many things that he eats are very meticulous, and he is very careful on what he puts inside of his body. Obviously, he works out, exercises. So that obviously is a factor, okay? I believe that is a factor. However, I don't believe that his diet and exercise regimen alone is the only or the main aspect to his success. So we look at how his body has been able to hold up. I actually looked up his sacks, and so far to this date, Tom Brady has been sacked 543 times. Well, that's second behind Ben Roethlisberger. Only Ben Roethlisberger over his career, who's actively playing, has been sacked more than Tom Brady has. So Tom Brady's been sacked more than Brett Favre was sacked. Can you imagine that? That doesn't seem right, does it? But for some reason, he's been able to, absorb some sacks through the years, but also avoid major injuries and major depletion and to his body, basically. So some of that, I think, is you really can't put on paper. I think some of that is just him being able to absorb hits and kind of going to the ground. I think a lot of that, if you notice with Tom Brady, he doesn't fight for oftentimes, if he is vulnerable or if he's being hit, he doesn't fight to try to stay upright too often. A lot of times you'll just see Tom Brady go down. Ben Roethlisberger and some of these other quarterbacks, you look at even a quarterback like RG3 who was athletic. You look at so many quarterbacks who have short careers or shorter careers or who don't play as long or as good for so long. You look at them, a lot of times they absorb hits and they're always trying to fight for that extra yard, just trying to make the extra play. And so they end up taking that big hit. Well, Tom Brady, historically, even though he's got 543 sacks, he hasn't taken a lot of just big hits. A lot of times he'll go ahead and fall to the ground and move on to the next play. So I do think we can contribute some of that, whatever you want to call it, that I don't know if you call it intelligence or really, I guess you could say it is. But I think we can contribute that to some of his longevity and some of his success. Going ahead and getting down early and not absorbing those big, vicious hits that sometimes quarterbacks and athletes can take. Another thing I believe that has helped Tom Brady, obviously his quick decision making. Tom Brady is one of the best at reading defenses. Before the snap, pre-snap reads, he's able to. He's been doing this for so long, and he's been so good at it for so long. But he is able pre-snap to look at the defense and know basically what's happening, what's coming, and that has allowed him to make adjustments when he needs to, and basically make the right play to extend the drive, to get the first down, or to get the touchdown, or to get the big play, and so forth. So I think that obviously is due to his success. He's still great at pre-snap reads, at reading the ball, or at reading that defense. Also, if you'll notice, his velocity on throwing the football is still great. It's still impeccable. He still can sling the ball. He's still accurate. I don't think we talk enough about Tom Brady's accuracy. A lot of times we talk about Drew Brees, who's historically, and then Aaron Rodgers for being accurate, but Tom Brady is accurate when he throws the football. He doesn't throw a lot of sloppy balls. I mean, most of the time, Tom Brady's going to hit the receiver where he needs to be hit with the football. So he's going to throw it in stride, going to make the right play most of the time. Even on the deep balls, Tom Brady is great at throwing the deep ball. So he's accurate, and that has really proven his success. So those are just a few things that I want to make mention of. Tom Brady versus time. We'll talk more about that in the future. Well, there'll be other videos where we talk about Tom Brady, I'm sure. But just a few things I wanted you to think about in terms of the longevity and the success of Tom Brady. All right, guys. Well, that's all for now. We'll talk to you soon, right back here on the Sips Podcast YouTube channel.